Hello students, today we are going to start chapter number 9, Ray Optics and Optical Instruments. Now topic number 9.1, Introduction. Students, we know that human eye is sensitive to detect electromagnetic waves of wavelength of about 400 nanometer to around 750 nanometer, and this region of electromagnetic spectrum is called visible region. Students, in the chapter of electromagnetic waves, you have studied about the different regions of electromagnetic spectrum. So for this wavelength, that is 400 nanometer to 750 nanometer, that part is known as visible region of electromagnetic spectrum, and our eyes are sensitive for that particular waves having that frequency or wavelength, and that is called a light. Now we know that light travels at a maximum speed of about 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, and it travels in a straight path. Its maximum speed is in vacuum, but we know that when the light travels in some denser medium, its speed gradually decreases. Now, a light wave travels from one point to another along a straight line joining them, and this path is called the ray of light. We know that from a source, that is from a bulb, the light emerges. So from this point, when it emerges, it extends in this direction in a straight path in the form of wave, and that wave is nothing but it is ray of a light, because one point is starting point and there is no other end point, so that is nothing but it is a ray. Here I have shown a figure. You can see this is the starting point A, and towards B it extends, so it is a ray of light. Now a bundle of such ray constitutes a beam of light, means many rays which are parallel to each other, and when they move in one direction, that is called a bundle of rays, and that bundle is called the beam of light. Now students, in ray optics, the phenomena of reflection, refraction and dispersion of light is studied. So we are going to study these things in this chapter, and here we are going to use the concept of ray picture of light. Means we will use the geometrical method, ray diagram method, to explain the image formed by the rays when they reflect or refract. And so I have written here, formation of image on the basis of basic laws of reflection and refraction is studied in this chapter. Also, we will study about the construction and working of some important optical instruments in this chapter. Students, optical instruments means microscope, telescope, binoculars, etc. Even human eye is a natural optical instrument. So we will study about the working of such instruments also. Now topic number 9.2, reflection of light by spherical mirrors. In this, first we will study about laws of reflection. Students, to understand these laws of reflection, let us see this figure. Here in figure, this is a plane mirror lying on the horizontal surface, and a ray of light is incident on the surface of this plane mirror. So here this surface is a reflecting surface. So at this point this ray is incident and then it gets reflected in this direction. So this is a reflected ray and here this is a incident ray. Now the point at which the ray incident, at that point if we draw a normal to the plane surface of a mirror, then the angle made by incident ray with the normal is called incident angle, denoted by theta 1 here, and the angle made by reflected ray with the normal is called a reflected angle or angle of reflection. Here it is denoted by theta 2. So now, according to law of reflection, this incident ray, reflected ray and the normal, they lie in a same plane. This plane is perpendicular to the mirror, that is normal to the mirror. Now students, also according to law of reflection, this angle theta 1 and theta 2, they both are always equal. Whatever the type of surface is, here the surface is plane surface for a mirror, but if it is a curved surface, then also this law is applicable. So we can say that first point of law of reflection, the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal to the reflecting surface, they all lie in a same plane. And second point says that angle of incident theta 1 is equal to angle of reflection theta 2. Now students, there are some sign conventions used to obtain the formula as well as for calculations also. Here in figure you can see there is a curved mirror, curved, or we can say it is a spherical mirror. Why it is spherical mirror? Because actually it is a part of a sphere and this sphere is cut from here, and so this part is a part of a sphere only and it's one surface, that is here the outer surface is made non-reflecting and this inner surface is made reflecting. So here you can see a concave mirror in the figure. Now this line along the x-axis which passes through point P is called principal axis, and this point P is called the pole of the reflecting surface. This is the y-axis along which the mirror is placed, that is we can say mirror is placed vertical, and this line principal axis passing through the pole is horizontal. This is the object placed in front of the reflecting surface of a mirror, and after reflection image is formed here at point O dash. Here this M dash is called the aperture of the mirror. Now students, about this sign convention, all the distances are measured with respect to pole. If the distance is measured towards left side, then that distances are taken negative, and if the distance is measured towards right hand side, then that distances are taken as positive. So it is clear that towards the positive x direction the distance is positive, and towards the negative x direction the distances are taken negative from the pole. Also, the distances in the upward direction, they are taken positive, and the distances in the downward direction from the principal axis, they are taken as negative. Means towards the positive y direction distances are positive, and towards negative y direction the distances are taken negative. And so here, as an example, if I want to measure the distance of object from the pole, then that distance will be negative. If I want to measure the height of the object, then that height will be positive because it is in the upward direction towards positive y direction. And if I need to measure the height of image which is in the downward direction, that is towards negative y direction, so I will consider that as negative. And suppose if the image is formed here, then the distance of the image from pole will be positive in this direction. So a simple sign convention is used. I have shown this sign convention in short here, and that's why it is called a Cartesian sign convention, because it is similar to the Cartesian coordinate system. Now about focal length of a spherical mirror. Students, if this is a concave mirror with inner surface reflecting, for a concave mirror inner surface is reflecting. So for this concave mirror, as it is a part of a sphere only, and a sphere has a center, so this point center is called the center of curvature of this mirror. Let this is a pole P, and this line which passes through pole and center is called a principal axis. Now students, when a parallel ray incident on this reflecting surface, then it passes through a point on the principal axis which is called the focus or focal point of this concave mirror. The distance of pole to center of curvature, that is this distance, is called a radius of curvature because it is the radius of this spherical surface. So distance CP is equal to R, and distance of this focal point from pole, that is this distance FP, is known as focal length of the concave mirror. and relation between this F and R, that is F and radius of curvature, is F is always half of R for a concave mirror. F is always half of R. So now here we are going to show that why this F is equal to R by 2. Students, here a concave mirror is shown as well as a convex mirror is shown. For both the things, or for both the mirrors, this formula is applicable. That is, F is R by 2. Now let us consider this figure, that is a concave mirror. Here this M represents this mirror, this P represents the pole, this F is a focal point or a focus, and this C is a center of curvature. Now suppose the object is at a very far distance, say at infinity. So the rays coming from that object will be always parallel. So here a ray is parallel to the principal axis is shown. When this ray is incident at this point on the mirror, it gets reflected and it passes through the point F, that is focus. Now where it incidents at that point, if we draw a normal, then this line is normal, remember, and that normal will always pass through the center of curvature. So this line which passes through the center, that is a normal actually. Now students, here according to law of reflection, this is the incident angle and this angle is the angle of reflection, and we know that both these angles will be equal, and that's why here both are denoted by theta. Now you can see in this triangle, as this angle is theta, this angle will be also theta. Why? It is because you can see Z is formed here, and so these are the alternate angles and they are always congruent. Which two angles? This angle and this angle, they are always congruent, and that's why this angle is also theta. Now from the geometry, it is clear that this triangle MFD and this triangle MCD, from both this triangle, as this point is the midpoint of CD. So definitely if this angle is theta, then this angle will be twice of theta. In other way, we can also explain that for this triangle, remember students, for this triangle, which triangle? Triangle MCF, that is this triangle, this angle is an exterior angle, and according to definition of exterior angle, the exterior angle is always equal to sum of the interior opposite angles, and so theta plus theta will be 2 theta. So here this angle is an exterior angle of this triangle and these two are the interior opposite angles, and so this exterior angle will be sum of this interior opposite angles. So theta plus theta is 2 theta. So I hope you understood. Now students, here these rays are considered quite close to this principal axis because this aperture of the mirror is considered very small, and so these rays which incident on the mirror, they are considered very close to the principal axis, and so they are known as paraxial rays. Students, remember this word, paraxial rays. And so the distance between this point D and P can be neglected. Means we can say that point D is equal to point P only. They are not the different points because the rays are paraxial rays. Now mathematical steps. You can see here, as we have considered the rays are paraxial, they are incident at a point close to P, and so these 2 points D and P, they are not the different points, they can be considered as a same point because distance dP can be neglected. Now once again, M denotes mirror, P denotes pole of the mirror in the figure, F is the focus, C is the center of curvature, distance CD is equal to R, that is radius of curvature, and distance FD is nothing but it is focal length denoted by small f. This distance from P to C, that is R, and from P to F, that is F. Now in triangle CMD, look here, this triangle, in this triangle with respect to this angle, this side MD is opposite and this side CD is adjacent. So we can write tan theta is equal to MD upon CD. In place of MD, we can write MP also because D and P are not the different points, they are the same points. So it can be written as MP. So MP upon CD. So that's why I have written here tan theta is equal to MD upon CD. Also in triangle FMD, in triangle FMD, this triangle, with respect to this angle, this MD is opposite and FD is adjacent. So we know that MD upon FD is equal to tan 2 theta. So we can write tan 2 theta is equal to MD upon FD. And so tan 2 theta is equal to MD upon FD. Now students, this angle are very small as the rays considered paraxial rays, the angle formed are very small, and so if the angle is very small, we can write tan theta equal to theta as well as tan 2 theta is equal to 2 theta. So applying this condition in this equation as well as in this equation, we get theta is equal to MD upon CD and 2 theta is equal to MD upon FD. But what is CD? It is r. And what is FD? It is small f. So we get theta is equal to md upon r, and 2 theta is equal to md upon f. Let us see the figure. Here, this distance from D to C, that is the radius of curvature, and distance from D to F is nothing but it is focal length small f. So we have used R and F. Now students, here in this equation 2 theta is equal to md upon f, and so if we make subject theta, then 2 will come here in the denominator of right hand side. So that's why I have written theta is equal to md upon 2f from this equation to this equation. Now you can easily compare this equation number 1 as well as equation number 2. Both are theta equal to. Here also it is theta equal to. So comparing both these equations, we get r is equal to 2f. Once again students, look here. In both these equations, theta here also, md here also, md here also. So definitely this r in the denominator should be equal to 2f here in the denominator. So r is equal to 2f, or we can write f is equal to r by 2. Hence we have derived this formula that focal length is half of the radius of curvature. Now students, some basic things which you should remember for a curved mirror. Let a concave mirror is considered here. Horizontal line which passes through the pole is called principal axis. Now whenever a ray coming from the object which is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection it always passes through the focus. So this is the reflected ray that passes through focus. So always remember this. Then next thing, when a ray is directed towards center of curvature, that means this type of ray, when this ray directed from the center of curvature to the mirror, after reflection it will move in the exactly reverse path. You can see this ray is incident and it passes through the center of curvature. So when it reflects, it is exactly returned in a backward direction in a same path. Then next condition, when a ray passes through the focus, incident ray, when it passes through the focus, after reflection it becomes parallel. That is, when the incident ray is passing through the focus, after reflection it becomes parallel to the principal axis. Then third condition, when a ray incident directly to the pole, then it will reflect in such a way that these angles are made which are equal. So students, these important things you should remember to form an image of an object. To form the image of an object, one of these rays can be used, and to form the image, two rays are compulsory used out of this. Now students, in this figure you can see the different positions of the object, and related to it different positions of the image which are formed are shown. Let us see one by one. Here you can see in this figure the object is at infinity, and all the rays which are coming from the infinite distance, they are always parallel to the principal axis. This is principal axis, and as I said earlier, the ray which is coming from the infinite distance and which is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection it will pass through the focus. So if I consider an another ray also coming from that object, that will be parallel to this, and after incident it will definitely pass through the focus only. So after reflection, these two rays, they incident at point F, and so image is formed at this point F. So whatever be the size of the object, the size of the image will be point sized, means very small. A special word used is diminished. So it is clear then that when the object is at a large distance or far away distance, its image is formed at the focus and its size is point sized, means very small. Now in second case, the object is not too far away from the mirror. This is mirror, and the object is not very much far away from the mirror, but it is beyond C. This object is beyond or behind C, we can say. So for this object, at this point many rays, they emerge, but to form the image of this object we need two rays, at least two rays. So when that two rays, they after reflection, when they meet at a point, then the image is formed at that point. So first ray we are considering the parallel ray. After reflection it will pass through focus. So this is the reflected ray and this is the incident ray. Now second ray which is considered? Second ray is considered which is towards the point O. Here this point O is nothing but it is pole of the mirror. So this is the incident ray. After reflection it will pass through here and it will intersect at this point. So you can see both these reflected rays, this as well as this, both these reflected rays, they intersect at this point after reflection, and so image is formed at this point. Now students, earlier we have seen that when the object was very far away, that is at infinity, the image was formed at focus. But as the object is coming towards the mirror, the image moves from focus towards C. You can see now the image is here. That is from the focus it is directed towards center of curvature, but it is here at this point. Now third case. if the object is placed exactly on the center of curvature, at that time where will be the image? Earlier we have seen when the object was very far away, image was at the focus. When the object is brought closer, then image moved from focus towards this direction and it formed here when the object was beyond C. But now the object is on C here. So now in that case, we will first take a ray which is parallel to the principal axis. So this is the incident ray. After reflection, we know that it will pass through the focus. Then second ray here we have considered, which is directed towards the pole. After reflection, it will pass through this point. So you can see after reflection, both the rays they meet at this point, and where they meet, the image is formed at that point. And so this is the image. Here these two angles which are formed will be equal according to law of reflection. So when the object is at point C, image is also formed at point C. The size of the object and the image will be also same. Distance is also same, size is also same. Students, in that previous cases, the object was large and the size of the image was small because the object distance was large and image distance was less. And one more thing, you can see the object, it is placed vertical and the image is formed inverted. Even in that previous case, in the point size case, the object was erect or vertical, but the point size image which is formed here, that will be inverted. Also here in these three cases, the actual rays they are meeting at this point. After reflection, they meet actually at this point, and so the image formed is called a real image. So the cases are real and inverted. Now next case, now the object is between C and F. In previous case, object was placed at point C and image was also below it, but now the object is placed between point C and point F. So this is the object. Now in this case, what will happen? Image is formed where? So this is the parallel ray. After reflection, it passes through focus. Then one ray which is towards the pole, incident ray. After reflection, it intersects at this point, and so image is formed here. Now you can see image is now beyond C. It is beyond C. So it is clear that object is moving towards this direction and image will move from F towards this direction. Both are in opposite direction. Now the difference here is that the object will be small and its image will be large. When the image is formed beyond C, the image height will be larger than the object height. Again, the image formed is real and inverted because the actual rays after reflection they meet at this point. Next case. Now the object is placed on the focus. In previous case it was between C and F, that is somewhere here, but now it is on the focus. So one ray we have taken parallel as usual. After reflection it passes through focus. This is reflected ray. Another ray towards the pole. This is incident ray. After reflection it is moving in this direction. You can see, students, after reflection both these rays they are parallel to each other, and if they are parallel to each other they are not going to meet, but we can say that this ray will meet at a very large distance, that is at infinity. And if these two rays they are meeting at the infinity, then definitely the image is formed at infinite distance. And if the image is formed at a very large distance, then its size is also very huge. So definitely when the object is placed on the focus, image is formed at infinity. Once again the image is real and inverted, but its size is very large. Now let us see the case when the object is now between F and O, that is somewhere here. So now in this figure you can see the object is placed between F and O. So one ray parallel to the principal axis, after reflection it passes through the focus. So this is the reflected ray. Another ray towards pole, after reflection it is moving in this direction. Now just observe this, both the reflected rays. You can see this ray as well as this ray. Both are not parallel to each other. They are moving away from each other. So when two rays they are moving away from each other, then what will happen? They are not going to intersect at any distance, because as they move further and further, the distance between both the rays will increase. So there is no chance of meeting both the rays. And so in this case what we have to do? We have to extend these rays backward. So this first ray which is moving towards the focus, if I extend this ray backward, as well as this second ray which is directed towards point O, and then when it reflected in this direction, if I extend this ray backward, then they appears to meet at this point. Remember students, they are not actually meeting, but when they are extended in backward direction, they seems to meet, they appears to meet at this point, and so image is formed at this point. So remember, this image is formed which is having its size larger than the object. Also it is formed behind the mirror. The side of the object and side of the image they are opposite, that is one is towards the left of the mirror and the other is towards the right of the mirror. That means they are not in the same side. In previous cases they were in the same side, but now it is different. Second thing, here actual rays they do not meet, and so real image is not formed. So here this image is virtual, and as it is straight only, object is also erect, image is also erect. So it is virtual and erect, and it is magnified. Why I am using word magnified? Whenever the size of the image or the height of the image is larger than that of the object, that image is called magnified image. So students, I hope you understood about this cases for a concave mirror. Only in one case we are getting the image as virtual and erect. In all the previous cases they were real and inverted. Now students, for a convex mirror there is only two cases possible. This is a convex mirror. This inner surface is non-reflecting and this outer surface is reflecting. So this is convex mirror. Now students, here what happens when the object is at infinity? Object is always placed on the left side of the pole. So when the object is at infinity, all the rays, they will scatter after reflection. Suppose one ray is coming, and then when it incident, it will divert in this direction. Suppose the ray is incident here in a lower side, then after reflection it will scatter. So there is no chance of the rays to meet after reflection. But when these rays are extended backward, means the reflected rays, when they were extended backward, they passes through a point which is focus of this convex mirror, and so we can say that the image is formed at point F. This is the same case as that of concave mirror, but the difference is that here the actual rays, they do not meet. The reflected rays, when they were extended backward, they meet at this point. They appears to meet at this point, and so image is virtual, and virtual images are always erect. So here the size of the object is whatever, the image will be point sized. When the object is at infinity, image will be point sized, it will be virtual and erect. Now the second case is when the object is near the pole. See students, there are no such cases of on the C, between F and C, between F and P, because you can see this is the curved part of this mirror. Focal point, center of curve, they are on this side, and object is placed on this direction. So there are no such cases of on the F or on the C, between F and C, beyond C. So such type of cases are not there. So only two cases. One is when the object is at infinity and when the object is near the pole. So here now we have kept this object here near the pole, we can say it is not at the infinity, or in another way we can say that the object is between infinity and pole. This is infinity and this is pole, so it is between infinity and pole. So now in that case what will happen? One ray we have considered parallel. You can see here this is the parallel ray. After incident, it will move in this direction according to law of reflection. This dotted line is nothing but it is the normal. So these two angles which are formed, they are equal. And so when this ray is extended backward, this reflected ray, it will pass through this focal point because the incident ray was parallel. Now one ray is directed towards center of curvature. You can see this ray, it is directed towards center of curvature. So reflected ray will be along the same line. So you can see it is on the same line, incident and reflected. But when this line is extended backward towards C, the two rays, previous one and this one, they appears to meet at this point, and so the image is formed here. So image is formed between F and P. So we know that when the object was at infinity, the image was here. But when the object is now brought closer towards P, the image slides towards P. So this is the case for the convex mirror. So as the object will move towards the pole, image will also move towards the pole. Size of the object will be always larger than the size of the image in all the cases. For convex mirror, size of the object will be always larger than that of the image. And image for this convex mirror will be always virtual and erect.